Let me just follow that up quickly. There was something you said about the speech that you heard on New Year's Day, which was that the president essentially sounded like a candidate, that he sounded like somebody who's only been in office for 6 months. In the speech that I heard, he mentioned, for example, that the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company has now 700 billion naira, for example, to guarantee payments to generation companies, and that move has now lifted power generation in the country from 4,000 megawatts to 7,000 megawatts. He talked about kind of the transformation of that sector and what's being done, trying to give hope. Now, the question I have is, if somebody comes in, there are hardships everywhere. People are suffering. Nigerians are suffering. We just came out of a fuel scarcity, which was terrible. Now, what do you tell them? Because truly, if you know that the issues are complex, the problems are complex, they're decades in the making, you have a few years to solve them, and there are a lot of different institutions that you're grappling with in order to even solve them. What would you say to the Nigerian people if you don't tell them what you plan on doing?
No, the question is not that you tell them what you plan on doing. The point is that you have been in office since 2015. This is 2018. You should not be sounding as though it is just you're just fresh from the oven. That's the point I'm making. It's very easy. You don't sound as if you're just coming from 7,000 is very good. It's coming from where we were. It was great. I mean, during this festive period, where I live, I had electricity for most part, which is good, which means that the minister is doing a lot of work. But this is not just about the minister. It's about the vision and the will that the president will put on the table that will make the minister run. That is what I'm talking about.
When the president makes a statement such as the broadcast that he made on New Year's Day, it is expected that it is believed that a lot of mechanisms and a lot of shakings will happen to begin to see that Mr. President's points are well executed, and perhaps parts where we had lags are being addressed. For instance, the fuel scarcity that we faced leading up to the new year. A lot of people are expecting that perhaps the president should wade in much, much more than he has, looking at the marketers on the one hand, looking at the NNPC since he's the boss, even of the oil sector. But in all of this, what do you think is coming out? Because people want to see results at the end.
Nothing. People forget that when he was addressing the country about fuel scarcity and lamenting that, had Christmas, but it was not a Merry Christmas, and forget that as he was speaking, was also the Minister of Petroleum. And he should not be looking into it. And if he were the president and somebody else were the Minister of Petroleum, he would be the one asking the Minister of Petroleum what went wrong. Now, it is under his purview, and all he did was a cop-out.
Was he passing the bulk?
Exactly. That's what Shoyinka said in his New Year's statement. Passing the bulk. It was a blame game. You have to take responsibility. This thing was horrendous for people who could not travel, people who could not. I know of somebody who wanted to travel to Jos and who could not go because he discovered that the fare was too much, and
are you saying that
he couldn't go to join his family.
Are you saying that nothing has changed? Because this problem is not new to Nigerians. It has been there for God knows how long. Every time we're faced with this same situation at year end, except for maybe 2016, 2015, 2016, we didn't face that. So what did we do at that point in 2015 and 2016 that was right, that we missed again?
What did they do that was right? That's a good question to ask them. The point is that there was a lot of supply and there was a lot of optimism. And I think that what this government had in 2015, we had not had in a long time. I think the last time we had that kind of optimism was also when Jonathan just came in. When we had optimism, there was light everywhere. Some people were calling Jonathan light. And the same thing happened under Buhari. Everything was going on well, which means that the system can work if we make the people feel that they belong. But once they start to see that, look, I'm not part of this, I don't really count in this system, then then what you discover is that everybody retreats to their default indolence and detachment.
Are you implying that this administration is losing its goodwill?
It has its goodwill in certain areas. In the area of security is done very well there, in spite of the skirmishes and deaths and so on in some parts of the north. In terms of security, it has done very well. And it seems to be relying so much on that. Agriculture is a good thing going on in the country right now. Agriculture is going on, but the credit goes more to the states than to the federal government. Federal government is making a lot of noise. Federal government has no farm. You know, you can see the tile between Lagos and Kebbi. You can see what Sokoto is doing. Borno, in spite of what is going on, Borno is doing a lot in agriculture. Pt.2, you can see Oshun and even Ogukeba with their own rice and so on. So states are doing things. Now the question is, we are going to be faced with a lot of wastages. You see, the problem with agriculture is not only making food, it's making sure that people eat and they eat cheap. That's the whole point about agriculture. We have not been able to turn to that. And then in the issue of mineral resources, every local government, we have 774 local governments in this country. I was speaking with a senior colleague the other day when we were discussing, and he said, do you know that every local government in Nigeria has a mineral resource? At least one.